Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. In this episode, we'll be previewing the game between Australia and Sri Lanka. Both teams coming off very impressive wins in their first game. Australia defeating South Africa and Sri Lanka beating Bangladesh. Sri Lanka, they can be a threat to this Australian team. They have some good bowling. Their batting as well, kind of underrated. We saw the way Rajapaksa batted along with Charit Asalanka. They batted really well and turned the game around for Sri Lanka. And they have some very good bowlers in Hasaranga, we know, and Lahiru Kumara looks really good. Very aggressive man. He got fined as well against Bangladesh, but he has some good pace which can trouble Australia. Australia, on the other hand, some world-class players. Again, some players out of form. David Warner, they need him back in form. Aaron Finch as well. But they have Steve Smith, they have Glenn Maxwell, and their bowling looks solid as well. Ashton Agar didn't play in the last game. That was surprising to me. I think in future games, we will get to see him and he should be used. But in this game against Sri Lanka, I think Maxwell and Zampa can do the job, and they should maybe focus more on pace because Sri Lanka do play spin decently well. We saw that against Bangladesh. But Ashton Agar, I feel that he needs to get back into the side. He'll later, at least later in the tournament, just because he provides that extra both with bat and ball. And yeah, going into this game, it's been a while since both teams have played, but I think they will both be confident. For Australia, again, the top order needs to fire in this tournament. That's something that has been a concern for them. David Warner has just not been in form, and that's a big issue for them. If he can start getting runs starting off against Sri Lanka, that will be a massive help for Australia, along with Aaron Finch, because these guys, if they go, hammer and tongs in the power play, they can really take the game away from any team. And if they do get out early, it puts pressure on the likes of Smith, Maxwell. Smith likes to take a bit of time, rotates the strike. That will push the run rate down. And Maxwell as well, he doesn't really take time. He goes from the ball from ball one, but it puts more pressure on his wicket. If he gets out, then it could be a slide. But they have Stoinis there, they have Mitchell Marsh, they have some solid batting. Matthew Wade is there as well. But I think the key for Australia will be that top order to give them some sort of start. It doesn't need to be a 60-70, it could be a 30-40 also, and just put some pressure on Sri Lanka and with a good strike rate. I think that's very important. The strike rate needs to be really good. From Sri Lanka side of things, they'll try to restrict Australia, and with the ball they have Hasaranga, he can work his magic and make it difficult, in the middle overs for them. And with the bat, they'll be looking to take the attack to Australia. They lost some early wickets against Bangladesh, but they continue to counter attack, and that's the way to go. Sri Lanka was so impressive, and like I said, Bhanuka Rajapaksa was brilliant with the bat. They rotated the strike, they found the boundaries with will. This is going to be a different test because Australia's bowling is much better. Hazelwood, we saw very accurate pinpoint, McGrath-esque, if you want to say. And, they have Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc, who have some extra pace and can rush these Sri Lankan batsmen. So it's going to be a big test for Sri Lanka. And then Adam Zampa, he's a wicket taker. We've seen what he can do. And they look to target him, Sri Lanka. But, if Australia keep one end tight, Zampa can take wickets from the other end. And Maxwell with his off spin as well when the power play can be useful. For me, the key battles, again, it will be, Lahiru Kumara versus the top order, Finch and Warner, and then Hasaranga versus Smith. Smith and Maxwell. That's a brilliant battle to watch out for. Whoever wins that battle will give the team a big advantage in this game. And if you flip it, Kusal Pereira, Asalanka, and Rajapaksa versus the likes of Starc, Hazelwood, and Cummins. I really want to see how Sri Lanka play against pace. We know that they can play spin well, but against pace, how do they play this kind of pace? All three different type of bowlers, different strengths, and they will all cause some problems for Sri Lanka. It's going to be an exciting game. The players to watch out for, I'm going to go from Australia side of things. I'm going to go Steve Smith. I think he plays spin well, so he can really glue that middle order together, rotate the strike, and I just want to see if he can accelerate when needed. He has that in him, but I just want to see how he paces his innings. He's the batsman to watch out for. With the ball, I'm going to go with Josh Hazelwood. He's been brilliant so far in the UAE, whether it was the IPL or in the T20 World Cup, and he will cause problems for Sri Lanka. For Sri Lanka, with the bat, I'm going to go, I'll go Rajapaksa this time. Let's see how he goes, coming off a brilliant innings against a different opposition. And then with the ball, I'm going to go with Lahiru Kumara. He's going to play a massive impact against Australia, who play pace better than Bangladesh do. So it will be different. I think it'll be a different challenge for him. How does he adapt to that challenge? Can he keep his calm and composure and his accuracy? Going into the game, I think it's a tight call. I'm going 60-40 Australia's favor just because they have some very experienced world-class players who can cross the line, but it's not going to be a challenge. We've seen the middle order has been an issue against South Africa. They collapsed as well. The top order has been an issue. It's just Maxwell and Smith who have been in good form. Stoinis looked in decent form as well, but apart from that, batsmen need to get runs, and it needs to come from the top. And from Sri Lanka's point of view, nothing to lose. Of course, we all know they've had issues in the past with the team. They have not been successful recently, but and not many people will be backing them in this game. But I think they can put pressure on Australia, especially on the top order. If they take wickets in the power play, it will definitely put pressure on Australia. And with the bat, anyone can step up. They also have Kusal Pereira, who has he scored a wonderful Test 100 as well, like in South Africa. So he's someone who is known mug with the bat. And really looking forward to this game. Let's see how it goes. Australia favorites for me, but Sri Lanka can give them a tough fight, and hoping for a good close game. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for the latest content from the T20 World Cup. Thank you so much.